10 o'clock, we received information that there has been a bomb blast at Shivaji Park and about 100 casualties were expected in our hospital. Immediately I informed the incident command officer, Dr. Barse, Deputy Dean, and she took charge.
There's some breaking news coming in from Mumbai.
Explosions have been reported from 3 different areas.
This is a confirmed terror strike.
3 bombs have ripped through Mumbai, leaving at least 21 dead and more than 100 injured.
After the recent attacks in Mumbai, we reached out to our colleagues at Sion Hospital and asked them, how they felt like they had done in their response. Understanding that many of the victims had in fact been brought to that hospital. And what they communicated back to us is they felt very proud and grateful that they had had the opportunity before that event to plan, train, and exercise, because when the patients actually arrived, they were prepared and felt like they were able to deliver efficient, appropriate care.
Megacity, Chennai. The core team of Chennai Emergency Management Exercise, CEMEx, has been working round the clock for nearly 8 months now. They want to be as prepared as Mumbai or better. It's a mammoth exercise. 12 different tracks or aspects of emergencies will be covered in 5 days. Nearly 1,000 participants will be trained in both classrooms and practical situations.
I know it's 11 o'clock. Okay, that's all for the day. But all stay here. Rooms are booked in Archana's. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.
As a precursor to the event, awareness is being created in schools and colleges across the city.
The topic was how to overcome a disaster. The immediate response you give. You do not get panic. You immediately you call someone, take the help of elders and help others.
I'll name the volunteers and the track coordinators who need to sit together.
Meanwhile, at the university, event volunteers gather to fine-tune and coordinate their efforts for the days ahead.
I'm not worried, but I'm certainly a little nervous at the scale of this exercise that we are planning probably in about 36 hours. We expect about more than 1,000 delegates for this conference. And we have 12 tracks which are running over a period of 4 days. We have faculty, international and national, and from the regional faculties too, coming for this conference. We have about 80 volunteers, and today I think it's very noisy here because we are trying to get all the 80 volunteers involved. We have to work together in a coordinated fashion. And I'm hoping that we will make a big success out of this for other institutes and states in our country to follow.
The excitement is high as participants queue up. After a smooth registration process, they move to the tracks they have chosen to attend. Yograj is a student of Emergency Trauma Care Technologies. He begins his training at the Emergency Medical Services course.
How did the energy get spent? Okay?
The program's main concept is very accident, adavudhu village, city side, tsunami, the building collapse, nilanadakam, இது மாதிரி ஏதாவது பெரிய ஆபத்தான விளைவுகள் ஏற்பட்டா அந்த இடத்துல போய் ட்ரீட்மென்ட் பண்ணி பேஷண்ட்டை ப்ரீ ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்லேருந்து இன் ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு ஷிஃப்ட் பண்ணி ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு கொண்டு வரது தான் எங்களுடைய மெயின் கான்செப்டே.
Even a small mistake can be fatal, you know, if they don't take care of the cervical spine, they can be paralyzed. So important is to how to assess them in the field, assess for critical conditions which are life-threatening, and then move on. So this 2-day course is about training them into doing it.
The first responder track is meant for personnel most likely to arrive first at an emergency scene, such as firemen. They learn the response skills hands-on. The hospital emergency track here is being conducted by emergency physician and 9/11 veteran Dr. Robert Bristow.
The more supplies, the better. Is this true?
Doctors and hospital administrators are learning how hospitals need to handle various aspects of emergencies, from creating disaster plans to handling crisis communication.
NDMA's plan is to have the capacity building of all the stakeholders, especially the tracks which have been conducted here, whether the first responders or hospital emergency, trauma. Those are the priority areas, and we want to focus on those areas for capacity building of various stakeholders.
The school's safety preparedness exposed teachers to the sorts of hazards that schools are vulnerable to and taught them to build capacity to face emergencies.
And it was very interesting, and since it was each of the assessment was made regarding the school campus and regarding the safety of the children inside the school premises, it was very useful for all the participants, because most of the participants in the program were only teachers.
இப்போ நம்ம ஸ்கூலில் சில நேரத்தில் நிலநடுக்கமோ இல்லை தீப்பிடிச்சு ஏதாவது இடமோ எரிஞ்சிரும். ஓடும்போது எல்லாரும் இடிச்சுக்கிட்டு ஒன்றா உயிருக்கு கூட ஆபத்து வரலாம். அப்போ வந்து நம்ம ஸ்லோவாகவும் நடக்கணும், ஆனால் யாருக்கும் உயிர் ஆபத்து வராமல் நடக்கணும்.
Today we have done a mock drill in a school where we have already trained the school students how to react in times of fire, how they can rescue injured students before the arrival of the fire department.
Where the patient may not have lost blood.
The comprehensive trauma life support course taught medical professionals to assess post-trauma injuries. Here, doctors are learning airway management through the use of medical dummies. The emergency nursing care track taught nurses to identify their role in a variety of emergency situations and respond appropriately.
As a nurse, we work in the hospital. We're very used to our routine, whether it be we're assessing patients or we're not assessing patients, we're waiting for doctors. Now all of a sudden, you have a lot of patients. Now your role changes a little bit. So people are expecting nurses, especially nurses, to start taking care of the patient. So they actually need those skills to actually perform maybe an expanded role during an emergency.
Among the various aspects covered in the humanitarian response track was the public health awareness campaign conducted in slum areas. Classroom learning included prioritizing needs during emergencies.
Today we are given a task to find out 5 priority questions in order to assess an earthquake situation which is given as a scenario today. Because it is a compound disaster which has an earthquake, floods, landslides.
We have been here for the last 2 days. We have been training responders on the chemical and industrial disasters. Primarily, most of the industries which deal with hazardous chemicals, we have been making them aware about the health effects and how to respond to such type of emergencies which involve hazardous materials. Today, as a culmination of the 2-day training program, we carried out a chemical disaster drill.
What is that gas? What is that? Huh? It's a chlorine gas. Okay.
They did brilliant, and I think with more practices, they would be able to get on with dealing with much more bigger chemical disasters.
At the heart of the basic and advanced life support course was the exercise in triage. Here, participants learn how to classify and tag live casualties at an emergency scene into 3 categories, according to the level of care needed by each patient.
Action! Let's go!
Fine. Who triaged this patient? Obviously, she's not ambulating. She's not walking around. Her triage category, it changes, right? All right, let's go over here. This patient has body substance burns. Triage tagged is red. Appropriate? Yeah, absolutely appropriate.
There's what's referred to as a golden hour, where from the time that the accident takes place till the patient is treated at an acute care facility. So getting a patient that is entrapped out of the vehicle and moved to a hospital in a rapid, safe fashion is important.
We need to stabilize this first. To make it better, I can take the air out of the tires. We can take this window out just by doing that. So, if we can't get into this door, what can I do? I can pry that. Good. Now, we're going to simulate that this patient is extremely ill and dying. So, since he's so ill, they've decided they need to get him out of the vehicle very quickly. So what we're going to do is a rapid extrication. We're going to bring this in. Somebody holding C-spine from here.
On day 4, all academic sessions complete. Everyone gathers to assimilate the classroom learnings during the tabletop exercise through an emergency simulation.
That the purpose is to allow people to participate in a joint response as to what would happen during an event. So we have the situation here that we're going to be looking at a commuter train derailment. And so we'd like you to spend a few minutes, you will get 3 minutes, to caucus and then present what you would do.
Information to ambulance, to fire service, and information given to bomb squad.
Rehearse that and go to the place. First of all, we try to put out the fire.
After getting the first call, the CO immediately dispatches the first ambulance based on the information he has.
And who will you be reporting to at the scene? Will it be fire or police?
I understand there would be an incident commander by then, so we would be reporting.
We will be exercising tomorrow. Hopefully everything will go right. I know it will. Tomorrow's drill begins at 11 a.m. my watch time. Happy, eager, anxious, nervous, and very excited because, as you see, we have the police department, the fire department, the medical people, civil defense, the community. Everybody is here, and everybody's here to come to work together. So I think it's going to be a very interesting day.
பட்டினப்பாக்கம் சவுத் கனால் பேங்க் ரோடு கார்பரேஷன் கிரவுண்டில் கிரிக்கெட் மேட்ச் பார்த்துக்கிறதுல ஒரு லெஃப்ட் சைடு வால் கொலாப்ஸ் ஆகி ஒரு 150 பேர் இன்ஜூர்ட் ஆகிருக்காங்க. நீங்கள் ஃபயர் சர்வீஸ் ஆம்புலன்ஸு தகவல் சொல்லி ரெஸ்கியூ டீம் இமீடியட்டாக அனுப்புங்க.
Without scoop board and spine board, you can't shift the patient. Bring me one scoop board or spine board. Bleeding control பண்ணுங்க. Fast. Come in. Right, fine. One red and one yellow. We are sending one red and one yellow. Ramachandra போறாங்க மேடம், ஒரு red ஒரு yellow மேடம்.
It's going very well. They have successfully triaged, I'd say probably 90% rate. And when you look at national standards, you're looking at the average, about 90%. And done it in a very, very short time, coordinated, put patients in the right areas, have utilized their vehicles very well. So they're not transporting one person, they're doing minimum of 2, maximum of 5. Once we got through the initial adrenaline, they have done much better of coordinating the responders and the rescuers into a slower pattern and taking care of people. And you can see that it's much more organized now once we slow down. And I think that's a function of practice.
Any other thing which you want to say that this can be improved further?
At the end of the drill, a hot wash exercise is conducted to identify gaps and areas for future improvement.
You saw that there are over 150 casualties were here, and we saw the systematic staging, triaging, and then handling of the patients. I think it was state of the art application of knowledge and understanding. Whatever they learnt in the last 7 days, I think we've been able to test it, apply it. Great.
There is a well-known saying that a stitch in time saves 9, and it's exceptionally relevant, especially in the area of disaster prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. Friends, we do need a paradigm shift in disaster management from post-event response to preparedness, prevention, and mitigation.
I'm sure the people of Chennai and also the people of Tamil Nadu will see the kind of efforts that are being made through this exercise to raise public awareness, to look at our capabilities, identify the gaps, and more importantly, what is going to be done after this is going to be something that will make this more sustainable and institutionalized.
I want to thank everybody for everything they've done. An excellent job.